Hello and welcome. Today we dive into Simon Zacharias' play, A New Testament of Romeo and Juliet, a bold reinterpretation of Shakespeare's timeless tragedy. We will explore how Zacharias' work challenges the original, introduces new arguments, and offers a critical modern perspective. Let's begin by briefly revisiting Shakespeare's original and then journey into the heart of this New Testament. Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet tells the story of two young lovers from feuding families in Verona. Their secret love leads to tragic misunderstandings and ultimately both lovers' deaths. The play is often seen as a tale of fate, youthful passion, and the senselessness of family conflict. Central to the tragedy is Friar Lawrence, who helps the lovers but his plans ultimately fail. In Zacharias' play, we can see on a moonlit night a modern poet enters a graveyard and calls forth the spirits of Romeo and Juliet. Instead of celebrating their love, the poet questions their sincerity and exposes secrets like Romeo's past love for Rosalind, which causes Juliet to doubt Romeo.
অস্বীকার করতে পারবে মিস্টার রোমিও এই জুলিয়েটকে দেখার আগে তুমি রোজালিনকে ভালোবাসতে না
Because Juliet never knew how much Romeo was attracted to Rosalind before seeing Juliet.
অপূর্ব প্রেম নিষ্ঠা সেদিনের ভোজসভায় রোজালিনের প্রেম নিষ্ঠ রোমিও তুমি তো সংসেজে রোজালিনকে
Their argument grows, and the poet invites Father Frere and even Shakespeare himself. Through sharp questioning, the poet reveals that Father Frere secretly gets them married and, to protect his own reputation, gave Juliet a deadly potion rather than helping her honestly. Shakespeare is confronted for turning his tragedy into a story that hides the truth and protects authority figures. In the end, Romeo and Juliet, enlightened by the poet's arguments, choose to follow him, seeking a new understanding for their story. Father Friar is left ashamed, and Shakespeare expresses regret for the injustice done to the lovers. But ultimately, the poet acknowledges the importance of Shakespeare's creation in front of him. Zacharias' play blends Eastern and Western theatrical traditions, breaking away from the strict unities of time, place, and action. The cast is minimal, just 5 characters: the modern poet, Romeo, Juliet, Father Friar, and Shakespeare himself. The poet interrogates the original narrative, drawing out contradictions and hidden motives. Zachariah, appearing as the poet within the play, questions the logic and morality of the original story. The poet exposes Romeo's past love for Rosalind, showing doubt in Juliet's mind. Juliet reacts with anger and betrayal. Her response is direct and rational, exposing her disappointment and challenging the ideal of blind, unquestioning love. The poet pushes further, challenging the very nature of their love by telling true love does not entail responses because it is not afraid of losing. It believes in no doubt about getting the beloved. That's why true love is slow and steady. This philosophical debate exposes the impulsiveness and flaws in the lovers' relationship. The poet then turns to Father Friar, questioning his motives.
আপনি একজন হত্যাকারী আপনি জুলিয়েটকে প্রথমবার মরণ বিষ পানে বাধ্য করেছিলেন আপনি জুলিয়েটের হাতে চেতনানাশক মদিরার নামে মরণ বিষ তুলে দিয়েছিলেন
Zacharias' argument is that Friar Lawrence's actions were not purely benevolent. The secret marriage of Romeo and Juliet by Father Friar and the potion were perhaps attempts to protect his own status rather than the lover's happiness.
প্রতিবাদ করুন
The poet challenges the acceptability of the death-simulating potion and examines Friar Lawrence's motivation, suggesting the friar's actions may have been self-serving, even sinister. As Clinton B. Seeley notes on this, Zachary uses Father Friar as a symbol to critique how, in society, religious authorities often avoid responsibility for tragic outcomes while maintaining their revered positions, much like political and religious leaders who manipulate faith for personal or political gain. This analytical parallel exposes the dangers of blind faith in authority and challenges the audience to question the motives of those in power, both in literature and in contemporary society.
ওদের গোপন বিবাহের কথা প্রকাশ করে দিতে পারতেন না? তোমার প্রশ্নের উত্তর দিতে আমি বাধ্য নই।
Diana Ansari has proposes a connection between this play and the strategies of Bangladeshi political figures she mentioned, but it also reflects Shakespearean status by raising question against Shakespearean point view towards Father Friar Lawrence and by incorporating new philosophical ideas to interpret Bangladeshi political games at a political moment. Zakaria presents Shakespeare as a character to directly question the authority and intentions of the original playwright, making him answerable for the consequences of his narrative. The goal is to expose how Shakespeare's storytelling protects figures like Father Friar and obscure deeper truths about responsibility in tragedy. As the poet comforts him,
আপনি কি মনে করেন না আপনি ট্র্যাজেডির নামে হয়তো আত্মহত্যার প্রহসন রচনা করেছেন? চুপ করে আছেন কেন? তার মানে আপনি আমার সব কথা মেনে নিয়েছেন।
Shakespeare's silence is telling, and eventually he expresses regret. Today I feel repentant for the injustice that I had imposed on their great love. In the end, Romeo and Juliet choose to follow the poet because his exploring questions and arguments reveal the hidden truths and manipulations behind their tragic fate, especially the self-serving actions of Father Friar and the narrative choices of Shakespeare. The poet exposes how their so-called eternal love was shaped by secrecy, deception, and the interest of authority figures, leading both characters to new self-awareness and regret over their past actions. As Juliet's statement, "You gave a new insight to our lives. From now on, we want to be with you." It is showing that the poet's critical perspective offers lovers a path toward truth and liberation from the myths that once defined them. The play closes with the poet reflecting on the power of questioning and the search for truth. Zacharias' reinterpretation is both a homage and a critique. By inserting himself and Shakespeare as characters, he blurs the line between creator and creation, past and present. The play exposes the dangers of blind faith in authority, whether religious or literary, and the importance of critical thinking. A New Testament of Romeo and Juliet is a powerful example of how classic work can be reimagined to question old assumptions and reflect new realities. As Professor Seeley's observation, true or not, it makes for an engaging drama and manages to engage Shakespeare himself as a character and to take him a task for and in his own literary creation. Zacharias' play invites us to look beyond the surface, to challenge authority, and to seek truth, even the most revered stories.